After 60, your body gets weaker, not because you did something wrong, but because no one has clearly explained what's happening to it. Many people step into their 60s mentally prepared to embrace aging. But what few talk about is this: our bodies start to silently lose muscle little by little. There's no warning, no clear signal. It begins with small things. Climbing stairs feels harder, carrying a bag feels heavier, or you just don't bounce back as quickly after gardening or taking a walk. You might think it's just age, and you let it slide, but this isn't something you're doomed to accept. This process is called sarcopenia, the age-related loss of muscle mass. What's important to know is, while sarcopenia is natural, it's not unchangeable. You can absolutely slow it down and even partially reverse it if you understand it and support your body in time. I used to think my diet was healthy and that I exercised enough, so I should have been fine. But I still felt myself getting weaker. I went from being able to clean up the whole yard in one morning to having to break the work into chunks. Walking up a familiar hill left me winded, and I started feeling like I wasn't myself anymore. After digging deeper, I realized the problem wasn't that I was being lazy or not eating enough. The real issue was that my body, at this age, wasn't processing nutrients the way it used to. That means even if I ate enough protein, my body wasn't absorbing and using it as efficiently as when I was younger. I also realized I didn't need to overhaul my whole lifestyle. I just needed to make a few tweaks, add in the right nutrients at the right time, and that was enough to help maintain and even improve my muscle strength. What surprised me the most was this: what I needed wasn't at the pharmacy, it was right in my own kitchen. In the next section, I'll share 3 natural powders that completely changed how I felt in terms of strength, stamina, and daily energy, in a simple, easy-to-do, no-pressure way. Not a miracle, but small things that made a big difference. 1. Whey protein, a simple yet powerful support for muscles after age 60. When people think of whey protein, many immediately picture young folks at the gym, lifting weights, or working hard to build muscle and lose fat. But the truth is, whey protein isn't just for bodybuilders. For people over 60, this type of protein can be one of the simplest and most practical ways to maintain muscle mass, improve recovery, and support an active, independent life. Starting around age 60, most people begin to face muscle loss, a condition known as sarcopenia. On average, you can lose 1 to 2% of your muscle mass per year without proper intervention. What's concerning is that muscle loss doesn't just make you weaker. It also reduces balance, slows down recovery after physical activity, increases the risk of falls, and seriously impacts your confidence in daily life. The important thing to understand is, even if you eat well, muscle loss still happens, because the aging body no longer absorbs and uses protein as efficiently as it once did. Whey protein can directly help address this issue. It's a complete protein, meaning it contains all 9 essential amino acids that the body cannot produce on its own, especially leucine, the standout amino acid that triggers muscle protein synthesis. Without enough leucine, that process doesn't happen effectively, even if you're eating enough protein from meat, fish, or eggs. Whey's strength lies not just in its makeup, but in how quickly it's absorbed and how convenient it is to use. You don't have to lift weights or do high-intensity workouts. Simple activities like walking, stretching, resistance band exercises, or even just repeatedly standing up and sitting down, all are enough to stimulate your muscles. And if you drink whey within 30-60 minutes after activity, you're giving your body exactly what it needs to rebuild muscle tissue, at exactly the time it absorbs protein most effectively. Even without exercise, many people take whey in the morning as part of their daily routine. That's because consistently adding protein helps maintain muscle mass, slow down muscle loss over time, and also helps keep you fuller longer, stabilizes blood sugar, and boosts daily energy. When choosing whey protein, quality is key. It's best to go with whey isolate or whey concentrate from grass-fed cows, as these types are higher in pure protein, easier to digest, and lower in lactose. Each serving should ideally contain at least 20 grams of protein, enough to effectively trigger muscle recovery in older adults. Avoid products with artificial sweeteners, food coloring, or ingredients you can't pronounce. Those are usually unnecessary fillers that can upset your digestive system. As for how to use it, whey protein is very versatile. You can mix the powder with cold water or almond milk for a quick drink, or blend it with bananas, leafy greens, and frozen fruit for a nutritious smoothie. Some older adults even mix whey into morning porridge or oatmeal to boost their protein intake without having to eat more meat or fish. Whey digests quickly and feels light on the stomach, making it perfect for early mornings or after light activity. Beyond muscle support, whey offers several other benefits for older adults. It strengthens the immune system, curbs unnecessary snacking, helps reduce unwanted fat, especially in people who are both overweight and losing muscle, a dangerous condition known as fat but frail, and even helps improve blood sugar control. Most importantly, the goal of using whey protein isn't to bulk up or change your appearance. It's to make sure your legs are strong enough to climb stairs, your arms are steady enough to carry things, and your body has the strength to let you live independently, without having to rely on others for the smallest tasks. Whey protein isn't a miracle cure, but it is one of those small, practical, and reliable steps you can take to stay strong, capable, and confident in your own body, even after 60. 2. Collagen peptides, recovery and flexibility from within. When people hear collagen, they often think of beauty products, skincare creams, or anti-aging supplements. That's not wrong, but it's only a tiny part of the story. In reality, collagen is a crucial structural protein throughout the entire body. Think of it as the soft framework that holds everything together, from your skin, bones, tendons, and ligaments to your muscles. After age 25, your body starts producing less collagen. After 50, that decline speeds up. By the time you reach 60, you may have lost a significant portion of the collagen you once had in your youth. This loss doesn't just show up as wrinkles or dry skin. It also appears in stiff joints when you wake up, aches after a simple walk, or a general loss of ease when doing movements that used to feel natural. These signs are often mistaken for muscle loss, but in most cases, they actually stem from a weakening of your connective tissue system. Unlike muscles, tendons, ligaments, and cushioning tissues aren't visible, but they play a key role in helping you move steadily, safely, and without pain. That's why collagen peptides, also known as hydrolyzed collagen, become an invaluable ally after 60. Collagen peptides are collagen proteins that have been broken down into smaller chains, making them easier for the body to absorb. Once inside, they provide amino acids like glycine, proline, and hydroxyproline, essential building blocks that help rebuild connective tissue, strengthen the structure around your muscles, and improve overall flexibility. Imagine your house has loose screws, cracked ceilings, or sagging joints. Adding collagen is like tightening those joints so the whole structure holds firm again. After just a few weeks of regular use, many older adults notice real improvements. It becomes easier to get up from a chair, their steps feel steadier, and they experience less joint pain when going up or down stairs. It's not magic, but it is a steady, noticeable difference that builds over time. Taking collagen peptides is also very simple. Collagen powder is typically colorless, odorless, tasteless, and dissolves easily in both hot and cold liquids. You can stir it into your morning coffee, blend it into smoothies, mix it into porridge or oatmeal, or even add it to soup. The recommended dosage is usually between 10–20 grams per day, depending on your body's needs and condition. The most important thing is consistency. Rebuilding your body's foundation isn't something you notice after 1 or 2 uses, but after a month or more, the results become clear. Joints feel more flexible, movements come more easily, and your body recovers faster after physical activity. Beyond joint and muscle support, collagen also offers additional benefits. It can improve your skin's elasticity and hydration, reduce the risk of injuries in people with low activity levels, and even help support bone density, an essential factor in preventing osteoporosis in older adults. When choosing a collagen product, look for one with a clear and clean source, ideally grass-fed, pasture-raised bovine collagen or marine collagen from wild-caught fish. These sources tend to be purer, with fewer contaminants and rich in bioactive amino acids. Also, pay attention to vitamin C. It's a key nutrient your body needs to effectively use collagen. If the product doesn't include vitamin C, you can simply take it alongside a glass of orange juice or some citrus fruits. If you're already taking calcium or magnesium, it's perfectly fine to take them with collagen to further support your bones and joints. And if you've been avoiding physical activity due to joint pain, tight tendons, or fear of re-injury, collagen might be exactly what you're missing, a foundational layer that helps your whole movement system work more smoothly. Many people believe that getting older means moving less, but the truth is, it's not age that makes you weaker. You grow weaker because your body loses some of its core building materials, and collagen is one of them. Giving your body what it needs doesn't just help you feel stronger, it helps you regain confidence and a sense of control over your body. Aging doesn't mean you stop moving. It just means you need smarter, more consistent support. And collagen peptides are one of the simplest ways to maintain flexibility, stability, and freedom in every step you take. 3. Spirulina powder, a tiny superfood with big impact. Spirulina is a food many people overlook simply because it's not visually appealing. It's a dark green powder with a slightly odd smell and a name that sounds more like biotech than nutrition. But don't be fooled by its appearance. Spirulina is one of the most nutrient-dense foods on Earth. It's especially valuable for those over 60 who want to stay healthy, boost stamina, and preserve muscle without having to push themselves through intense workouts. At its core, spirulina is a type of blue-green algae, an ancient, microscopic organism that's been around for thousands of years. It contains a surprisingly high amount of protein. More importantly, it's a complete protein, meaning it provides all 9 essential amino acids your body needs to maintain and build muscle. That's a major advantage, especially if you don't eat much meat, follow a vegetarian diet, or struggle to digest animal-based proteins. Just a small spoonful of spirulina can give you a meaningful protein boost without feeling heavy or requiring complicated cooking. But protein isn't the only thing spirulina delivers. It's a natural micronutrient powerhouse. It contains iron in a highly absorbable form, essential for red blood cell production and getting oxygen to your muscles. Many older adults, especially women, have mild anemia without realizing it, causing persistent fatigue, shortness of breath during light activity, or that drained, heavy limb feeling. Iron from spirulina can help ease these symptoms without causing constipation, a common side effect of many iron supplements. Spirulina is also rich in magnesium, potassium, calcium, and B vitamins, key players in nerve function, muscle recovery, reducing cramps, and powering energy at the cellular level. Ever feel inexplicable leg fatigue or hand tremors when lifting something light? That could be a sign you're lacking these minerals. Spirulina delivers them in a natural, easily absorbed form. No need for synthetic multivitamins. Another major strength of spirulina is its content of phycocyanin, a distinctive blue pigment with powerful antioxidant and anti-inflammatory effects. This is crucial because chronic inflammation and oxidative stress are silent enemies that slowly wear down the body, causing muscle loss, joint pain, and lasting fatigue. Phycocyanin helps shield your cells from damage and supports recovery even after light activity, like gardening or walking around the block. And there's more. Spirulina also supports circulation. It promotes the production of nitric oxide, which helps blood vessels relax and expand, increasing blood and oxygen flow to your muscles, limbs, and areas that often feel cold or numb. If you frequently have cold feet, tingling fingers, or fatigue despite not doing much, this might be worth trying. When it comes to using spirulina, the powder form can be a little weird at first. It has a strong, earthy smell and taste that can overwhelm if not mixed properly. But you can ease into it. Start with half a teaspoon daily, then work up to a full teaspoon. Mixing it with orange juice, pineapple juice, or a smoothie with ginger, banana, and leafy greens can help mask the flavor. If the powder really isn't your thing, spirulina also comes in tablet form, tasteless, easy to swallow, and portable. No matter the form, the key is daily consistency. Spirulina isn't a drug. It won't give instant results. But after a few weeks of steady use, you may start to notice real changes. Better sleep, less fatigue with movement, and a clearer mind in the afternoon, when you might usually feel drained. Choosing spirulina wisely also matters. Since it's an aquatic organism, always go for organic products that are third-party tested and clearly sourced, preferably from clean environments like Hawaii, California, or Canada. Avoid cheap, uncertified options. They can contain heavy metals or toxins. And perhaps the most remarkable thing, spirulina doesn't just support muscles or reduce inflammation. It's like a concentrated superfood package, a source of protein, minerals, antioxidants, and immune boosters all in one. A small thing that can make a big difference to your entire energy system. Picture this. You go for a walk and your knees don't ache. You stay sharp after lunch. You don't need a handful of different pills, just one spoonful of green powder each day. With high-quality spirulina, you're not just supporting your muscles, you're investing in strength, clarity, and control over your life after 60. If what you just heard feels helpful, thought-provoking, or even just gives you that sense of, oh, I can still do something for my health, then hit the like button. That's not just a show of support for me. It also helps this content reach more older adults who might be in the same place you are. Feeling weaker, unsure where to start. I know that after a certain age it's easy to think, this is just normal, everyone gets old, or it's too late for me to change. But I genuinely believe that good health isn't a privilege reserved for the young. It's a reward for taking smart, consistent care of yourself, no matter your age. Thank you for staying with me all the way to the end of this video. I don't take that for granted. Your time is valuable, and the fact that you spent it learning something new to benefit your health says a lot. You still want to live strong, live independently, and live true to your values. That deserves real respect. If you think today's message could help a loved one, a friend, or anyone in your community, don't hesitate to share it. You might be the person who sparks their first step toward change. And if you'd like to keep going on this journey of caring for your health after 60, where every tip is simple, practical, and carefully selected, hit subscribe and turn on the notification bell. Each week, I'll be sharing more realistic advice, insights, and strategies to help you stay strong, healthy, and independent. Finally, if you have any questions or want to share your thoughts, stories, or personal experiences, leave a comment below. I read every single one and I truly look forward to hearing from you. What you share might inspire someone else and help me create content that fits you even better. See you in the next video. And remember, it's never too late to take care of your body. You just have to start.